Alright, I'm just going to show you what all you need to have to do your oil change. Of course you need you some oil. I'm running the synthetic Screaming Eagle 2050 oil. Harley-Davidson oil filter. I go with the black, goes with the Nightster. It doesn't hurt to have some gloves, little latex gloves, keep things clean. Funnel, of course, some shop rags, and some good old Gojo when you're done with everything to clean it all up. Alright, the first thing you're going to want to do is obviously warm up the motor, give it normal operating temp. That helps the oil flow out faster. You want to take out your oil filler cap right here. Now, everybody always takes theirs out all the way. I don't do that because I don't want crap getting down in there, so I just kind of get it up off there so it'll vent a little bit. The next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to we're loosening up the little worm gear that's on here on this drain hose that's holding this plug in. This is your oil drain plug for the engine oil. So break out a little flathead screwdriver, loosen up that worm drive clamp, and then you just pull the plug down. Now just let that drain and go have a beer. Once that's done draining, just put the plug back in, tighten up the working gear clamp. Alright, the next thing to do is take off the oil filter. It's right here. You can buy the Harley wrench that goes on these specialty Harley oil filters, or I believe I think K&N has a hex head right here if you use socket and ratchet, or you can use those oil filter straps, or you can have your nice pair of little pliers right here and get on one of these flats. Turn it right off. Next thing I like to do is take a rag, just kind of wipe around, inspect this area in here. Looks nice and clean. Wipe off this little machine face. And of course, any oil that gets down there on your motor, try to wipe that stuff up as well. Actually, you should probably wait until after you put the new oil filter in it, because you're going to have to put a little bit of oil into the oil filter and then screw it into there again, so you may just get a little bit of spillover. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is you just pour some of this oil into the oil filter. And I've already poured some in there, but the camera angle got all messed up. But you want to be sure to get some of that leftover oil, either dip your finger in there or whatever, and get it on the threads in there, and also, more importantly, on this little rubber O-ring right here, this little gasket piece, so that it makes a really nice seal as it's designed to, up against that machined surface that you cleaned off earlier. After you poured your roughly 4 fluid ounces into your new oil filter, area clean again. Basically, just screw it back on there. wipe it down, get any sweat or oil that you may have gotten on there. I take my glove off of this part because I want to make sure I get it nice and hand tight. You don't want to over tighten it, just want it nice and snug. And at this point, I clean off any oil, take that down on the motor. Of course, it's always good to wash your bike after you do all this. Make sure you don't have the oil leaks after the fact. You're all done with the filter and draining the oil, so a good time is to, what I like to do is clean up the bottom of the bike anywhere where any oil was. That way, whenever you crank up the bike, if you put a little bit of oil in it, make sure there is no leaks. Clean those areas real good where any oil might have dropped down. That way you're sure that those aren't leaks. Those just might be residual oil dripping off. So take out the vented oil filter cap if you left it in like I did. Put a rag up on the seat. I've got a nice splash saver filter funnel right there, and just pour the oil in it. What I like to do is it calls for, I believe, like 3.6 liters or 3.8, something like that. But I like to put in 2 full liters, maybe a little bit more, and crank the bike up, let it run for a little bit, and check the oil level, and then add as needed. Alright, at this point I've put in enough oil to where it reaches pretty much half on my dipstick. What I like to do now is screw the oil filter cap on there and crank the bike up, let it run for just a few seconds, crank it all the way up, circulate some of that oil, and then I'll add oil as needed. Well, whenever you go to crank up your bike to first initially check your oil level, you want to turn it on and look for that oil light right there. You want that to go off after your bike has reached 1,000 RPMs or so, or just pretty much after it's cranked up, you want it to go off. Alright, now that you've ran the bike for a little bit, just take the oil filler cap back out, wipe it down, put it back in, and yep, as you run the motor, a good bit of the oil's going to come up out of here, so I've got to add some. You may notice I'm a little bit anal about all this stuff, but I like to try to keep my area as clean as I can. So the only thing about these rags, it leaves some fuzz back sometimes. I don't like that shit getting down in there. Yep, you're looking good. And you're done. Wash your bike off, go for a ride.